because also on September 27, a great event happened. The first T model, the first mass-produced car, was launched in Detroit. And I just prepared a short presentation about Its Majesty, the car, which originated, in a way, we were talking about two originators. One, Cosimo de' Medici, who gave birth to the Florentine Renaissance through his sponsorships and so on. So he was, in a way, the father, the factual father of the great phenomenon called the Renaissance. And the T model of the Ford, built by Henry Ford in 1908, I think, or I forgot exactly the year, on the 27th of September, this car, which I showed in my invitational message, provoked the proliferation of again, Its Majesty, the car, to levels probably not even Henry Ford thought of. And I like to oppose, because I like polemics. I like to oppose to the Renaissance, or vice versa. I like to oppose to Its Majesty the car, Its Majesty the Renaissance, the cultural Renaissance, the spiritual Renaissance, the artistic Renaissance, but the present is closer to this: maddened and maddening highways. They all originated then on the 27th of September, I think in 1908, when Ford produced the first mass-produced car, which was launched at the plant in Detroit. And look at this. This is the present. This is one very small fragment of the present. Just look, can we count all the cars just in this small fragment of highways? Do we understand the anomaly of and the paroxysm of ruining the earth through this unending running again? I was thinking once, what do all those huge trucks transport? Sometimes they transport perhaps useful things, but I think many times they transport useless things, truly useless. The consume of the oil is immense. In fact, I cannot even imagine it. Look at them. Look at them, and this is just a fragment of one highway in the United States. Now imagine the whole world, and we include here China. And I'll end this very short presentation with the consequences of the great launching of the T model by Henry Ford, that we face today. And we talk about pollution, we talk about exhausting the resources of the earth, we talk about the rising levels of the sea, we talk about the climate change, we talk about the melting of the icebergs. They are all connected with the T model of the first mass-produced car by Mr. Henry Ford. This cycle, if we can call it a cycle, has to end. I would say better sooner than later. Look at this. Can we imagine the immensity of the financial effort to build this? Now, of course, the manufacturers of cars, those who derived from the great celebratory moment that Henry Ford initiated, they search for profits. So the more cars you sell, the more highways you need. So there is a connection between the highway and the car. They need each other. And look here, just look here. And we talk about, exhausting the earth. Now, of course we exhaust the earth. This is just that in 1 minute maybe, or 3 minutes, in a small fragment of one single country. I'm not talking about the whole earth here, although the whole earth is moving in this direction. And in China, you'll see a paroxystic, amplification of what we see here. It is unbelievable what one single car consumes. But how many cars are in the world? My God, can we count them? There are probably more than the leaves of a tree or the leaves of a forest. What am I saying, a tree? Look at them. They all derive from the 27th of September, when Henry Ford launched the first mass-produced car, the T model. Of course, we cannot offer time any longer, although the car was meant to reduce, transportation time. But still, we don't have time for translating Plato, for establishing a new Neoplatonic academy, for making statues that adorn buildings. We don't have time, isn't it a paradox? Although the car apparently was helping us to compress time and have more time for leisure. But what do we do in that leisure time? We lay on the sofa and watch stupidities on the TV. Most of them highly animated by ferocious crimes, because this is what the TV feeds upon, scandals. And somehow there is a connection between the facilities offered to us by, look at these cars, they are all assaulting the earth in explicit and implicit ways, all of them in two directions. So, we make sure that not only in one direction. And the amounts of oil consumed obviously is connected with or are connected with having wars, like the war in Iraq. Of course, it's all about the oil. The more oil, the more transportation, the more selling of cars, and cars again. And this is just a fragment of a highway in the United States. Look at this. Are these people free? Do you think that the drivers in these cars are more free than Donatello, or Michelozzo, or Brunelleschi, or maybe even Cosimo de' Medici? I don't think so. No, they just have the illusion that they are free. Where are they running? Like Fernando Pessoa said, it must be beautiful in Australia as long as you don't go there. Because from this point to another point, the existential reality or essence of the driver and those near the driver in the car remains the same. You carry within you whatever is within you wherever you go. Don't imagine, it's just an illusion that if you go to the Bahamas, you'll be a different man. No, you will not be a different man. Look at this. Look at the cars, trucks. It's unbelievable. And this is at the scale of the whole earth. And we are surprised that the icebergs are melting. We are surprised that there is pollution. We are surprised that the sea levels is going up. We shouldn't be so surprised. No. So, yeah, it started on the 27th of September when Henry Ford launched from Detroit the first mass-produced car. Look at them. Look at them. It's amazing actually what is happening. And when are we going to stop? Look at this. It's just incomprehensible, actually. I'm not even sure what I'm looking at here. Look at this. Sorry, the picture is not one of the best technically because of its size, but look at them and think about them. It's incredible. Look at this. And this is everywhere, not just in the United States, even in Africa, even in so-called poorer countries even there, the highways are moving in this direction if they are not already there. And what do you think these huge trucks really transport? Do you think they transport books from the library in Alexandria? Of course not. They transport most of the time stupidities, in order to be sold. All these trucks, they don't transport knowledge. They don't transport inspiration. They transport stupidities. Let us be honest about it. Gadgets, things, more things. As Barbara Kruger said in one of her artworks, I shop, therefore I am. So we replaced Cartesian saying, from Descartes, I think, therefore I am, with I shop, therefore I am. That's what most of these cars do. They are all about being trapped in the vicious cycle of production and consumption. It's truly, in my opinion, some kind of a planetary madness, and we need to get out of it. And I truly think the contemplative life, which was supported by the banker Cosimo de' Medici, might be a possible way out of this madness. Look at this in China. Is it different from what we saw in the United States? Of course not. Rem Koolhaas, in a lecture I attended, said years ago that in China, by the edge of the highway, there were huge billboards saying to get rich is glorious. Well, to get rich is glorious. What we look at now is a consequence of that. Look at this, China again. It could very well be the United States, or it could be even in Europe somewhere. Of course, the whole world is corrupted by this belief that the more we move outwardly, the freer we are. It's not true. It's actually running away from our true self, from our deeper self, not knowing ourselves. The more we run, the less we know ourselves. The yogi, the Indian yogi, in order to achieve enlightenment, assumes almost complete immobility. We are at the opposite. We move and move and move, and now we go to Mars, because after we polluted the Earth terribly, we run away. We run away because this is what we are good at, to run away. But from whom? From ourselves. We run away from ourselves. Wouldn't it be maybe preferable and less costly, far less costly, to maybe launch again a Neoplatonic academy like in Florence, Cosimo de' Medici did, to start again talking about philosophical questions which were not yet resolved and will never probably be resolved, but it's important to ask the questions, to carve again statues or sculptures, to think about the beauty of here and now. Instead, we run and run and run again. Look at this. This is the apotheosis of a so-called free man. So free that Daniel Lipskin thought that he should, evoke in a metaphorical way the disaster of the pandemic of COVID by entrapping the Statue of Liberty in some kind of a, malevolent cage. But I think Mr. Lipskin, with all due respect, misunderstands the true nature of freedom. Freedom, true freedom, has to do with the interiority, not the external, longings that it's normal to have. But true freedom, and that's why, again, the yogi doesn't run. The yogi submits himself to almost difficult to comprehend levels of not moving. So there, or we can choose between the Florentine Renaissance or this. What would we choose? I guess there were some virtues in this apotheosis of modernity as well. Yes, but there are also many problems, and the climate change is a reality that derives from this excess. And so are the other things that I mentioned: pollution, the rising levels of the seas, the melting of the icebergs, the the impoverishment of the world of the animals, of the plants. Doesn't matter how many zoos we create or greenhouses we build. Thank you.